Now, big week ahead, okay? Now, I'll say this. Get your popcorn out because Bill and Hillary Clinton, they're going to face US Congress to outline their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear the former president explain this infamous photo in the late pedophile's hot tub. I cannot wait to find out. This is going to be interesting, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Hillary explained it already. She was like, he's doing foundation work. I'm like, how many foundations do you have to spend your time in the hot tub with people who are clearly blacked out? Obviously, women that were too young to even be exposed in these hot tubs. I mean, this is ridiculous, but I look forward to seeing how she handles this because I think she's another one that has really not handled the spotlight the way she should have. And this is why she's so unlikable. This is why she couldn't win the presidency. So she was able to win the Senate seat in a very blue state. Let's face it, she didn't go back to Arkansas. She went to New York. She won the Senate seat. She then became Secretary of State, but she's never really earned anything on her own. So when she tried to go out and become president, she was so crazed and so angry. People just didn't like her. I think that's what we're going to see when she comes out and she starts talking about this, because look at her also in Germany. Remember when the Czech politician says to her, I think you just don't like Trump. And she lost it on him. She was like, I don't like him. That's right. He's taking away women's rights. And he was like, what are you talking about? Look, we believe there's two genders. She went off again. She had to be asked 3 times in that one panel to let the man speak. So what could she possibly be like when she's facing her own, having to face what her husband did and potentially her as well? I mean, these people attended her daughter's wedding. They definitely had some close relationship with the Clintons that they are going to have to explain. And I just think that we're going to see a very unhinged Hillary Clinton. I think Bill is well prepared for this because he's been living with Hillary, but Hillary's not prepared.
Oh, no, Hillary's not prepared. Look, her performance over at Munich was an absolute disaster. And she's been trying to talk the good talk. No, we have no links. We've got no links. But as you said, there are links at weddings. So we need to find out what went on, who knew what. And as I said, I cannot wait to hear what they have to say, especially that explanation. In a way, I almost feel sorry for Hillary having to listen to her husband's indiscretions, yet again, as if she hasn't done that once in her life, that's for sure.
It's hard to feel sorry for Hillary these days.
It is hard to feel sorry. I will retract that statement. I just think, gosh, as a wife, she's been through a lot with that president, let me say that. Now, look, there has been chaos at a Mexican resort town. It's actually quite frightening. Drug cartels lashed out after the leader of the brutal Jalisco New Generation cartel was killed in a military raid. The vision, as you can see, they're frightening. Tourists in Puerto Vallarta were warned to stay indoors as narco gangs went on a rampage. It follows the death of drug kingpin Nemesio El Mencho Oseguera Cervantes. The US State Department urged Americans to shelter in place. And also some American tourists have been reportedly trapped in that region, Tudor. What is the latest? This is very concerning.
Yeah, obviously we've seen actually some of the other towns that have also been brought in and we've seen some fires in some adjoining towns. This is very dangerous. This is very scary what we're seeing, but this is not a shock to Americans. Let me be clear. Americans have been saying, especially Republicans have been saying for a very long time, these cartels own Mexico. These cartels are very, very dangerous. They own, I will tell you, we didn't have an open border. We had a border controlled by the Mexican cartels. Under Joe Biden, he allowed them to become more and more powerful. And by having that open border, they were bringing in $1 billion a day, moving not just drugs, but moving people across that border. People were a very lucrative, the transport of people, sex trafficking was very lucrative for them for those 4 years under Joe Biden. They raised billions of dollars for their organizations to wreak terror, to wreak havoc across the state of Mexico. And fortunately, Donald Trump came in and shut down that border. That has hurt those cartels significantly. And they've said, they've labeled them, the administration has labeled them a terrorist organization. Now you can see, obviously the Mexican president has decided she will also go after them. She was the one who took this kingpin out, this has obviously had this reaction that you're seeing where they're starting to burn towns down and they're terrorizing people. And there was even video on the beach where you were just hearing gunshots, just bullets sprayed across the beaches. It's a very scary situation. I think it's time that it is dealt with, that these cartels are taken down. But it's going to be, I mean, we could potentially see what will resemble a war inside of Mexico.
Wow. And it's frightening. And I guess it's also another reminder why Donald Trump is so firm on shoring up the US border. I mean, this vindicates everything that he has been saying. This is the exact dangers in front when you've got people like this try to cross over the border into the United States, and you've got the lefty lunatics who are saying, no, we can't be arresting illegals. Well, have a look at what's going on in Mexico. Wake up and have a look what's going on. These are not the kind of people you want crossing into the United States. So it is a very frightening situation, as you say.